brakes, lawn vacs, and more serviced at the Lawnmower Hospital. Hey, the longer you wait, the longer you'll have to wait in line later. Their service department gets crazy busy as the season rolls on, so get in now while it's calm. For quick service on top brands like Bluebird, Ryan Turf, Husqvarna, and more, check out lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Fuel prices got you down? Subaru's here to pick you up. Subaru's electric and hybrid vehicles will save the day, helping you go further for less. Prefer a gas vehicle? Subaru Crosstrek and Impreza are built to keep costs low without sacrificing capability. Crosstrek was named 2025 Auto Trader Best Subcompact SUV, and Impreza has earned top safety pick recognition for 17 years running. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca.
You haven't set your lineup yet, right? It's Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
It's 11:01. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Fantasy Frenzy. Brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Go pay him a visit. Tell him we sent you. Say hello to Trent and company. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here from the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys are having a great start to your day. Lots to discuss. Draft lottery, NHL playoffs, Blue Jays, NBA playoffs. The Edmonton Elks season right around the corner. Lots to discuss, but I just want to quickly mention, to start things off here, it is McHappy Day. So if you are out and about in the city, you want to help out with a really good cause, head down to any McDonald's location, drive-through, or the app. You can order delivery with a $0 fee. And all day, McDonald's is going to be donating a portion of the proceeds from every menu item. Everything you get, whether it's a filet of fish, a sundae, they will donate to the Ronald McDonald House, keeping families with sick and injured children close when they need it. Sports1440.ca for more info, but I think I gave you a pretty simple rundown. Just go grab some McDonald's. I went by this morning, Duke, and a lot of people in the building are like, what are you drinking? Well, I got the new McDonald's soda. They have what I got, the Sprite Berry Bliss, Orange Dream Crafted Soda, Creamy Strawberry Coke Crafted Soda, the Mango Pineapple Refresher, Strawberry Watermelon Refresher, Blackberry Passion Fruit Refresher, Salted Caramel Cloud Iced Coffee.
Oh my goodness.
And the salted caramel coffee frappe. Frappe?
Frappe.
Frappe. Yeah, I don't speak French, but I know it looks good. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're wondering, like, what is he drinking? It's Sprite. It's berry. It's like a dirty soda from McDonald's. It's quite good. And
so it's like, is there cream in that one?
I don't know.
Because I heard you mention creamy in the strawberry Coke and another one or two. Is there cream in yours?
There's a white foam on top. So it might be cream.
Okay.
Of some sort. All I know is it tastes really good.
Yeah, well, it looks unreal.
If it makes my lips blue, well, that's just showbiz, baby. You'll see it on YouTube. It'll look funny, but the taste is delicious. So go grab some McDonald's. Speaking of blue, Duke, why don't we start off with the Maple Leafs? They wear blue. How about last night when they get selected with the first overall pick, I would likely say Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, but you never know what's really going to happen. The feedback has been crazy. The rest of the hockey world, a little sus. A little confused by it, but what was your thoughts? I'm sure you were watching like the rest of us.
Yeah, I was watching and I was shocked. I was stunned. So, I mean, it's coming seemingly more and more commonplace. We do get some of this drama at the top of the NHL draft lottery where we saw the Islanders jump up a number of places last year. The Rangers leapfrogged so many teams a number of years ago to select Alexis Lafreniere. Even like, look at the Ducks. They were one of the worst team. They had their worst season in franchise history. A couple of years consecutive and came away with 0 number 1 overall draft choices, despite having the best odds, I think at least twice, once for sure. And that was the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. So the Ducks, I'm not sure they're worrying too much about it now. They seem to have landed some really good picks, which just goes to show you don't need to pick first. You just got to pick properly and make right selections. There's lots of good players up for grabs at in the top 5 of these entry drafts. Yeah, the Oilers got Connor McDavid. The Sabres got themselves Jack Eichel. Didn't work out there, but Jack Eichel, Stanley Cup champion, one of the very best the league has to offer. So if you're a Canucks fan, if you're a Flames fan, Rangers, Blackhawks, whatever, listen, Gavin McKenna, he's been profiled out as the top guy in this draft for several years running, like all leading up to it. That doesn't necessarily always work out. I'm not trying to dog a McKenna, but you hear the scouting reports on guys like Ivor Stenberg, the crop of big, meaty defensemen that are all here. Chase Reed, Keaton Verhoff, Carson Karls, Daxon Rudolph, even a local product. I'm excited to see how this all shakes out because the Sharks jumping up to number 2, I think, does complicate things in regards to how the order is going to shake out of players selected. They could really go either way. Best player, whoever they may deem that to be, or draft for a positional need.
Yeah, I like it's maybe not the slam dunk people thought it was a couple of years ago, and that was probably just due to the lack of knowledge about the other prospects around the NHL.
Right? Yeah,
it was like just this McKenna kid, he's unbelievable.
Remember when Angelo Esposito was going to go first overall for like 6 straight years, and then he ended up being, I think it was a mid to late first round pick, if that.
You kind of see it in every sport too, though, right? Like if you go back and look at the 20, a mock draft for this year done last year in the NFL, and it's like.
All the quarterbacks. 5
quarterbacks going in the first 10 picks, and none of them went there. It's you gotta wait for it all to play out before you really know. But the Toronto Maple Leafs came into this one 8.5% chance of landing the top pick. The Vancouver Canucks had 25% chance. They finished third. It's unfortunate for the Canucks. I was hoping they might get it just to spice things up a little bit, but
I was rooting for the Flames.
The Flames would have been good too. No,
they've never chosen first.
Well. Some might brag about that. They'll be picking 6th. They have the 4th best odds. They fall to 6. How about the San Jose Sharks? That's another one that's like, really? They get the number 2 overall pick? They were 9th.
They missed the playoffs by 4 points.
They had a 5% chance to get that spot and got it.
Good on them. And so, like, just right first impression, Connor. I don't know if you've done any other, because as soon as the order's determined, all of our draft experts across the league, all right, here's my mock draft. Here's how I see things shaking out. If you've dove into any of those yet, we had Stephen Ellis on the Carey Show first thing this morning to give his thoughts. What do you see the Sharks doing at number 2 here? Because we know what Celebrini is. They jumped up to take Michael Misa 2nd overall even last year. That was a spot that they moved into, didn't have afforded to them. Sam Dickinson on the back end. We've seen what William Eklund, Will Smith, even Graf, a college kid coming out, has been a real pleasant surprise. They've got weapons all over the place. What do you think that they do at number 2?
I mean, would it be a reach to go for a defenseman, whether it is Chase Reed or Verhoff? Like,
I don't think so, because I think that's clearly a bigger area of need than, even though Stenberg is considered the consensus number 2 guy.
Would you? And it's not like the NFL by any means, where it's like, I'm going to drop back 2 backs, throw me a 5th, and we'll call it even. But like, if you're the Sharks, would you consider dropping back to 4 or 5? Like,
it takes 2 to tango in that situation, and I'm not sure.
Like, do you think the Blackhawks would jump up for a guy, or the Rangers? Like, maybe they're like, we want.
I think the Rangers are looking at it and they say, we're going to get one of these defensemen. Like, they're not all going to be off the board by the time we come around at 5, because the idea is that McKenna, Stenberg, and even Caleb Malhotra are probably going to be selected in those first 4 picks. None of those are defensemen. So even if 1 or 2 guys go, you're left with a selection of any number of those guys we've already named out. And I think that has to be the direction they'd be looking. So the Blackhawks are an interesting one. Would they be willing to jump 2 spots? And what does that cost to swap 2 spots? Because
if you are San Jose, you're probably like, well, we're still going to get our guy, get him for cheaper a little bit. If that weighs in, I don't know. It might just be crazy. You might just say, you know what, let's not even risk it. Let's take our guy. Malhotra, son of Manny, right?
Correct.
It's got to be. That'd be kind of a cool connection if he ended up in Vancouver, where Malhotra played for a while. Was a coach for a while. So he would have spent some time in his youth there before playing for the Brantford Bulldogs. But it was fun. The process, though, Duke, I'm not going to lie to you. I was so confused about it. We didn't have the audio on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we're just like, what are these numbers? Like, I'm sure it explained, because I know, like, I saw the Steve Dangle video of, we need 12, we need 12.
Yeah.
We were watching without volume, and I was just like, this is tough to follow. And then they showed Matt Sundin just smirking at the camera. I looked at Declan like, I think they won the draft lottery, but they didn't have the best odds, so maybe, but the whole process, it was kind of cool. And then there was like kind of that celebrity guy just giving out the balls, right? Bill or something? Bob?
Like the lottery operator?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Alex.
Was it Alex?
Alex, I want to say. Yeah, he's the star of the show. Great beard, great hair. No, it's funny you say that, Connor, about the actual process, and I suppose watching it without any sound does complicate things a little bit. But I really enjoyed the spectacle of it. You know, if we rewind to different iterations of this, and it's just Bill Daly flipping over placard cards, and then we actually get the first overall card flip before the second overall card, because then that takes the drama out of it. Listen, it's not much, and there was always safeguards in place to try and eliminate ideas of favoritism or quote unquote rigging the draw, right? There was always people in the room, like a gallery of media watching the actual lottery balls, even if we didn't see that live on the broadcast. We got that this year. And the fact that in real time, the odds change with every ball that's kind of drawn and placed in order, and then waiting for that last one on the screen, it showed you exactly what number each team needed to potentially win. And that one number that the Leafs needed is what came across. It did make for some good drama, and I really enjoyed it. I think they found a little bit of a winning recipe here, at least in how they put it on and let the viewers take it in.
It has been funny with the Maple Leafs. A lot of people have been throwing out the idea that Austin Matthews will be gone or whatever. He wants to move on. Playing with Gavin McKenna, that could be something that maybe sways your decision and maybe turns things around a little bit quicker here. The Leafs, now all of a sudden, a storyline to watch here to see how it all plays out. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. Roddy says, hey, boys, I would trade the first pick. McKenna is not going to be a generational player. Definitely not as Schaefer. Plus, he's a winger, my opinion. I don't think you're alone in that thought. I think other people have kind of, the generational player. Just because you're taking first overall doesn't give you that label, right? Just because the hype was there for a little bit. And that's almost unfair, I think, to throw on a guy, because you're putting so much pressure, like, I have to be the next Crosby or McDavid. Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the reality, and it's partly due to media coverage, and you want to get a build-up, a draft, and people that cover the draft and are the analysts of prospects and things like. By definition, you can't have a generational player every year, but it does kind of seem like that's often the case. And the funny thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm misremembering or changing my own memory. Nobody was saying that about Macklin Celebrini. It was like, this is a really good guy. He's going to be a number one center. But if we look at some of the recent top picks, he might be the closest to that since the likes of Connor McDavid, who is a genuine generational type pick at the top of the draft. And listen, back-to-back years, we saw Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby go. Those are anomalies, because then in their first rookie season, they both put up 100 points. No rookie has accomplished that feat since. And Crosby did as an 18-year-old. Ovechkin, the year and a half older due to the lockout holding him back a season. That is the anomaly. You can't expect that every year, no matter if you're picking first. If you're picking first 3 years in a row, I think the Oilers and their fan base are very familiar with that circumstance. You can get good players, but to put that type of expectation that within one season or even two, if you're looking at like Celebrini, they're going to turn your entire trajectory around. That's a lot to put on the shoulders of a single young person.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, you go back and look, and since the last, I'd say, lock as a generational player, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, heck of a shot. I don't know if people are calling him, the next one. Nico Hischier, no. Rasmus Dahlin, stud, but I don't think so. Jack Hughes, Lafreniere, Owen Power, Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky was kind of a surprise, too, because that was the Shane Wright draft where everyone thought he would be the first pick. Montreal's looking like they made the right selection. Connor Bedard. I think Connor Bedard had a lot of hype. Maybe it was just out
100%.
west or something. Maybe we had that bias, but yeah, it was crazy. And Celebrini and Schaefer, all these guys, like absolute studs. But
when you're picking at the top, and whether it's first or I think really anywhere in the top five, maybe if we're just using really broad strokes, you want to get a franchise type player, a guy that you can build around and you expect to be a part of your team as a big contributor for the next 10 to 15 years type thing, right? And we don't always see it. Sometimes they get traded. Sometimes they fizzle out a little bit. It's not always the case, but that's what you're hoping for. So there is a difference between a franchise player and a generational player. And I think those lines get blurred a little bit sometimes, where just because you're the best player in your team does not necessarily mean you are a once in a generation type talent.
just unfair to you, but Joe Thornton was the last number one overall pick to go to the Hall of Fame. Can you name the others?
All others?
There's only 5.
Well, Mario.
Okay, hold on. Let me just get my list here. Oh, there might be more, actually. I think my color schemes are all messed up. But
Guy Lafleur.
Guy's one, yeah.
Pretty sure Mario.
Yeah. Guy who was just on TV yesterday smiling.
Ryan Strome. Matt Sundin.
Matt Sundin, yeah.
Lindros.
Yeah. You know puck. This guy was in Mighty Ducks 1.
Mike Modano.
Mike Modano. Basil McRae.
Basil McRae. The real star of that whole scene. The real star. Modano. Okay. Yeah. It is funny that the list is maybe smaller than you would think. Well, okay. And so Thornton was the last.
He was the last.
How many active guys can we see doing that? I think. And let's just maybe go guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame yet.
Well, Ovi and Sid.
Ovi and Sid for sure. But,
Eric Johnson, no.
But like Marc-Andre Fleury. It's a 3-time cup winner. Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Definitely.
The longevity absolutely plays a role, especially for a goaltender.
Rick Nash?
No.
Kovalchuk?
Spezza, no. Kovalchuk, probably not.
Patrick Stefan?
No.
Vinny Lecavalier?
No, probably not.
Tavares?
Maybe.
Stamkos, yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
Taylor Hall? Nuge Yakupov?
Probably not.
Nathan McKinnon? Yeah.
Good track.
Ekblad?
I doubt it.
I say no. I say McKinnon's a Hall of Famer already.
Like if he retired today, he'd be in.
Maybe not first ballot, but I think he is.
Well, he's got all the hardware a guy could ask for, right? So
McDavid, obviously.
For sure.
Matthews?
Maybe.
Now we're getting to guys whose resume isn't quite as long.
Now you're getting into the way too many question marks still. But I think if you get to McDavid as the guy who's, he could retire today and absolutely be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Macklin Celebrini and Matthew Schaefer are on the road.
Good starts.
Are on the road.
Good starts.
Albeit super early. 1-833-401-1440. It is Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky. Kyle says, I'm sorry, I don't think any player the Leafs take will move the needle enough in the next couple of years. They need to trade 34 or 88. So Matthews and Nylander, or one or the other, and jumpstart a rebuild.
We had a text earlier. I apologize for not remembering who sent it, but they said this is essentially what they said. It was, does this actually motivate the Leafs to trade Matthews more so than keep him? Because the assets you gain back, and all of a sudden maybe you can be more competitive in 2 to 3 years from now. And it all circles back to one thing, Connor McDavid becoming a Toronto Maple Leaf. Does that fall in line with when McDavid is done in Edmonton, or could be done in Edmonton, that the Leafs are back at a competitive window and he can return to be their crowning jewel on a team with Gavin McKenna, another few top draft picks and the like? Because keep in mind, with the Leafs keeping this pick, they essentially now, I think all but guaranteed, or maybe it is fully guaranteed, they will not have their first round pick for each of the next 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So being bad for the next 2 years does not necessarily do the Leafs many favors unless they really sell off and get draft picks back from other teams. But if they do that, guess what? Their pick's still going to be the better one available, as opposed to first rounders they bring in from teams adding guys like Matthews, Nylander, Riley, or whomever.
For fun, what does Austin Matthews fetch on the trade market? I'm like, was Tkachuk the last big trade, like big name?
I
am I missing anyone?
No, I'm trying to scramble because that was only
2022. That was Huberdeau, Schwind, McWeegar, and a lottery protected first round pick
for just Matthew Tkachuk.
For just Matthew Tkachuk, yeah. Then he signed his deal promptly. So you're going to want at least a first round pick for Matthews, and like Jonathan Huberdeau was coming off some good years.
He just finished a 100-point season.
Yeah. Kenzie Weegar's a good player.
And Weegar still is. And like, to me, Weegar was actually the main piece of that trade. I get Huberdeau but he had the big season. He'd had a lot of productive seasons, but he was regarded as a largely one-dimensional player, didn't score very much. Schwint, good prospect. I think still is considered so inside the Calgary system. Maybe approaching on suspect now, and we're talking about 3 years later.
No, he's gone now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Vegas had him and then waived him, and then the Panthers claimed him.
I did know that. I remember him being in the Vegas system, so you're right.
So he just wiped that one out. The Panthers got him back.
Way to go,
He
Panthers.
appeared in 29 games this year at 7 points.
Oh, there you go.
That's kind of funny. I really missed that weather. I'm going back. A couple of years in Calgary.
Playing for the Wranglers.
Wranglers.
Yeah, it's not even a case of like if you're an Edmonton prospect. Listen, Bakersfield's not exactly the glitz and glam of New York or Los Angeles, but it is still East California. In Calgary, you're a minor league player. You still have to play in Calgary.
Well, Calgary's not so bad.
Hey, this is coming. I live in Edmonton, and I'm not natural born Edmontonian, but I defend this city. There's lots to like about it. Ditto goes for Calgary. But if you're grinding it out, minor league lifestyle, you're overshadowed by the big club anyway, so you're not much of a local celebrity. Would you not rather play in some small town where you get that benefit and maybe the weather's a little bit nicer? Just a thought.
It's fair. It is fair. Ed and Father Very said, hey guys, who's had the most first overall picks? Do you know who, Duke?
I don't.
Quick math tells me it's the Montreal Canadiens with 6.
That would make sense.
The Islanders have had 5 actually, though.
Okay, and none of those were any of you go back to your original question to me about Hall of Famers that were first overall picked. None of the Islanders guys were that?
Dennis Potvin was.
Okay, that was my first inclinations.
Yeah.
All right.
I think a couple of the color scheme that I'm following here on Wikipedia was off, so there's more than 5. I think there's 8 or 9. But yeah. Potvin, DiPietro, Tavares,
but still not as
Schaefer.
many as you think.
No. I mean, geez, when you're taking first overall, that's the expectation, right? Like, this guy's going to be the guy. Not always going to work out that way. We'll take a break. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440. It's Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
In Alberta, every family has a baseball game day tradition for the summer.
We always bring our gloves to the ballpark.
We always keep score.
We always bring Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Some things change, but the best home run snack never does.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Whether you're watching from your recliner or the stands, make it a part of your summer ball game tradition.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. It feels good to know your fund goes further at home. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at cantork.com.
What's that? Is that actually spring? Like no snow squalls or bad weather tomorrow? It's actually spring? Well, GS Construction welcomes the warmer weather because that means we can really get to work. Now, it doesn't matter if there was bad weather. This is our time to shine. But we can't do it without good people to do that work. That's why GS Construction is hiring pipe layers, topmen, and heavy equipment operators. If you want to join a team who loves their work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
New at Papa John's, the spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Say it with me now. Spinach Alfredo sauce, grilled chicken, fresh Roma tomatoes, all on our fresh, never frozen pizza dough. 4 favorites, 1 pizza. So let's run it back. The spinach Alfredo chicken tomato pizza. Right now, a large for just $18.99. Delivery or carry out. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton sports fans, stay informed
With Sports 1440. Stream us.
Listen to us on the AM dial.
However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Whether you're refinancing or buying your first home, mortgages are easier with help from a neighbor. At Vision Credit Union, you get face-to-face guidance from local lenders who know the market because, well, they live here too. They'll look at your whole financial picture with practical advice for payments, renewals, refinancing, and what makes sense long-term. Get a more neighborly mortgage. Contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:26. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here. Thanks for tuning in. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. And of course, the show is brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online, willhawkbeefjerky.com. Lots to get to here. Greater Man Jay had texted in just regarding my Sprite Berry Bliss drink. Is it like swamp water? No. I don't know how to describe it. It's like Sprite with just some blue flavor. Tastes good. Swamp water was good. Greater Man Jay says his mix was Sprite, root beer with a little orange juice. I don't think I had a mix when it came to that. It was just everything. Is that a thing out in Delaware, Duke?
Like for soda?
Yeah, not real swamp water.
Not really. I the only thing, and we've talked about this before too, like the mixing of the Slurpee flavors, where you just put like a splash of every flavor in the cup. I've never been about that. I'll at most put 2 in there, just stack them up and get kind of 2 different profiles. But most of the time I'm just singular. One flavor.
Even as a kid, you were like that, hey?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably when I went the craziest.
Yeah. And so doing that with soda, that's you're talking crazy. You do that in Delburn, they'll burn you at the stake as a witch. Crossing the sauce in the soda dispenser.
I mean, hey, it was definitely a thing I think a lot of us really got into. This segment is for elksnation.ca, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Duncan Kruger, articles, watch the video on YouTube. Go check it all out, elksnation.ca. A lot of texts rolling in here. Good morning, boys. A few of the guys here at work are all concerned. Toronto got that first pick. Who cares? Look what they did with Austin Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. Nothing they got, nothing new, and this new management is going to do the same, plain and simple. Thanks, from Darcy. You look back at the management here. I don't know, dude. Like we had heard that they were looking for someone who's analytically inclined. Shake is that guy. He's got the background. Has he learned from his mistakes? I would hope so. I hope there's not going to be private workouts for these young prospects. I don't think he's going to get away with it again, similar to last time. I wouldn't be overly concerned. Like, you don't just fluke into that first overall pick. Like, granted, had the Florida Panthers done it, maybe we would have said they did. But for the Maple Leafs, like, they weren't a very good team, and they've struggled to build a winner. And look at Marner goes to the Vegas Golden Knights, and all of a sudden, postseason success. Didn't he have 2 points, Duke? Not to rub it in, but
he
got the empty netter.
He's been great for Vegas, yeah.
Like, he's a heck of a player. Represents Canada. He's on the best, second best international team in the world. My bad. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think it's going to be an immediate turnaround, and I think there's still going to be lots of pieces moving for Toronto. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. I think I speak for everyone when I say stupid Tirana from Lance. Nikki Northside says, everyone will hate this, but does Toronto getting the first pick make them a realistic contender to trade for McDavid? Gosh, just had a really funny laugh there. So, Nikki Northside, like, what would you propose that trade would be?
I don't think it makes them a contender to trade for McDavid, but I think the larger notion is that what we just talked about. This probably won't be an immediate turnaround for Toronto, but in 2 to 3 years, when McDavid, 2 years, he becomes a free agent, does it open the possibility of him going there to sign? And that also requires the Oilers letting him get to that point and not trying to trade him before.
Mm-hmm.
But if it comes down to the point that the Oilers are trading McDavid, they're kind of dealing from a position of weakness. Outside of a bidding war that you start up across the league, who wouldn't want to add McDavid on your team, of course. But if they're trading him, that means every other team knows he's not re-signing there. So, I don't know. It's a tough spot. It's not exactly like I'm not saying you're not going to get a full load in an acquisition, but at that time, who knows what the Leafs have compiled to put something together. I'm not saying it's totally outlandish.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it almost about any player team. Like, oh yeah, if we tank and sell all our assets, we could make a reasonable offer for said player in 2 years. It could be said about anything. So, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that story. The one thing I will say, Duke, is you can't really get a bidding war going for Connor McDavid because he has a no movement clause.
It's a good point.
So he can just waive, like, no, I don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. Don't want to go there. I only want to go here. So he has all the power about where he would potentially go. But let's wait and see what happens in the next couple of years. You see Leon Draisaitl's building a new house?
I did not.
No, it was all over Oilers Twitter. So he's pretty committed, hopefully. Steve from Jim Heller says, I agree. How does this pick do anything that Mitchie didn't do? I don't believe he's going to step in and take top line minutes and produce. MTR says, yes, leave Leon to play with banged up past his prime Austin Matthews. The trade is 1-for-1 and the first overall pick. Gruff says he was a big guy for Swamp Water back in the day. Big T's in Vegreville. 1-833-401-1440. Northside Lou says McDavid isn't going to a team that has to deplete their roster to get him. And that's been brought up a lot as well. This crazy hypothetical we're talking about. Like, any team that would have to make a trade for Connor McDavid, they're probably going to have to give up quite a bit. Like, you're going to have to clear $12.5 million in cap space to bring him in. Even if you were to have a couple million extra lying around, you still got to clear up 10. And then, you get to that point, Duke, where, like, if you're only getting one offer, it's the only team he's going to accept. If you're the Oilers, like, what do you do? Do you take that offer even though it's not enough in your mind? Or do you say, you know what? Let's go for another run here. Let's just run it out. And if we lose him for nothing, we lose him for nothing. Because that's the worst case scenario. Unless you win a cup and he has a change of heart. Oh, we'll just talk ourselves in circles. Why does everyone think the Leafs are so bad? They had an awful year, but a ton of injuries. They have better goalies than Edmonton. The D-Corp is better than Edmonton. Forwards, we have a couple studs, Hyman and Pod, but they have Matthews and Nylander, Nyes and Cohen, and now a draft pick. They have Tavares. We have Nuge. The Oilers need to get bigger and play defense from Jay and Victoria.
I'm not convinced that they have a better defense than what the Oilers have. They definitely don't have an Evan Bouchard. And that's paramount because the production, like, love him or hate him and what he does sometimes in his own zone and whatnot, like, the point production back there is something that only a couple other guys in the league can do. And it's not like the Oilers have, or the Leafs have a defenseman that is so good defensively that it's the complete counter to what Bouchard brings to the table. I like Brandon Carlo a lot. Now, it ended up proving pretty costly, or nearly very costly to the Maple Leafs, and it will because they have to give up the pick next year. The Scott Lawton acquisition, who's now in Los Angeles, cost them the next year's first-round pick, too. Riley, seems like they're ready to move on from him. OEL, Snow Spring Chicken.
Chris Tanev was on IR at the end.
Chris Tanev hurt all year, and, like, when you play the game the way Tanev does, hey, it's really admirable and very valuable, especially for teams come playoff time, that hard nose, lay it all on the line, but it also lends itself to missing a lot of time due to injury. You're just eating pucks and bodies all the time. I do not think the Leafs have a better D-core than what the Oilers have.
I think Stetcher was on their top pairing, wasn't he, at the end of the year?
Yeah. And listen, he played well after going over there.
We like him.
But that's more an indictment on the rest of the Leafs D group than it is a compliment to Troy Stetcher, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he had to play up in the lineup for sure. Just want to look here. So, we've heard about Morgan Riley willing to move on from Jake McCabe. He's there for another
player.
4 years at $4 million. Tanev, same thing, 4.5. OEL, 1 more year after next. And then Brandon Carlo, next year will be his final, right? Then he'll be 30, probably trying to get that last big contract.
So they have a bunch of really solid guys.
Yeah.
I think
when healthy, for sure.
a fair assessment. They don't got any difference makers. I think Connor Murphy, if he remains in Edmonton, he would fall into that same camp. So you got one of him. Matthias Ekholm would be in that same group of a really solid player. Hey, Darnell Nurse, criticize him all you want. The guy eats minutes. I would put him in the same group. So what are you left with? The Oilers have a Bouchard. The Leafs don't have anything even close to it.
I would agree.
The Leafs were injured all year, no doubt about it. But I also think that eventually when you lose a guy like Mitch Marner and try and replace him with depth players, try and make up for it in the aggregate, to use a Moneyball term, they're not going to have success doing that. Marner's one of the best players in the league.
It's true. Greaterman Jay says, would Connor actually go to a team that's rebuilding? I think he'd much prefer a move like a Chuck to an established contender. I would guarantee it, yeah. It'll be, by the time this contract ends, 2 more years, 31 to hit free agency potentially. I would, he'd 100% be a team that's contending in the window. I hate to say it, but look at what the Oilers did with their first-round picks year after year after year. Well, they lost this year's pick for Wallman, right?
Yeah.
The year before that, they traded it away to get Samuel Riley, right?
Yeah.
Which they traded for the Iceman, Ike Howard. That's it, though. I mean, you've been to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals. The years before that, you lost the eventual winners. I mean, you're in that window to trade your first-round picks, so I can't blame them. Other teams are kind of in that same spot. That's what you do when you're trying to win. Who did the Leafs trade their first pick for, Duke?
Brandon Carlo and Scott Lawton. Those are 2 separate first-round picks.
Yeah, they thought they were in the window. And Carlo, thank gosh it was protected, hey? Could you imagine if Boston got that pick? It'd be hilarious.
That'd be wild.
Oh, did Jay say Edmonton's defense is better?
Yeah, I just read back. They have better goalies than Edmonton. The D-core is better in Edmonton.
Okay.
So essentially my little soliloquy there was me arguing against nobody because nobody said that they have a better D group than Edmonton.
Appreciate you taking me at my word, though.
The point remains.
Sorry, Jay. My apologies.
Nothing I said wasn't true.
We're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
Everyone who texted in, what's Jay talking about? Jay was not. It was me. That's my bad. MTR says that must be the good weed out there in Victoria. Well, that's the reputation. Good morning, ladies. Hacksaw says, everyone talks about McDavid staying in the Chuck for 2 more years. His last minute contract and the salary now looks very easily tradable. Looks like he has no intention of returning this fall. Why do you say that, Hacksaw?
Well, that's pretty negative.
What's your reasoning? I would disagree with that one. I think he intends to return 100%. I think he and Leon Draisaitl have redemption on the mind. I think this looked back as a pretty disappointing season for them and for the core of this team. Now, you are right. That $12.5 million is a lot easier to trade.
It's a lot easier to trade than an $18 million contract.
100%. But no, I if it were to happen, I think maybe next offseason, but I don't think right here. Jane Victoria says San Jose looks like a good spot, especially in free agency. Yeah. I think a lot of people have thought that as well.
So I always kind of fight this a little bit when you're looking at teams that are coming out of a rebuild and then the potential to land big ticket players, right? That will command a lot of money. San Jose has tons of cap room right now.
But
will they have as much cap room when all these top 5 picks need new contracts, especially when it's becoming more and more common that as soon as a guy's done his entry-level deal, if he's showing anything resembling the potential or continuing the potential from when you made him a top 5 pick, you sign him to an 8-year deal at a big dollar figure, right? You're buying up those years. So when we talk about guys like what's Celebrini's next contract going to be? $14 million a year?
It's only 2 years away.
Only 2 years away? Isn't it the end of this year? He just finished his second season?
After next season, sorry.
Yeah. So
yeah. Sorry, I was looking at Misa. My bad.
And so Misa will have another couple years after that.
Will Smith is the same as Celebrini.
Will Smith. Eklund is already got a new deal, $5.6 million. That's pretty good value for a guy you expect to be in your top 6, I think. But then Dickinson on the back end, right? Like, I get it. McDavid's only 2 years away. I just don't think it's and the cap's expected to continue to go up. I don't think it's like foregone conclusion that all of a sudden San Jose has the opportunity to sign McDavid to a $20 million a year contract with no qualms. Like, when you're on the rise, you got to pay the guys you got. And if you don't, then what's the point of bringing in a top tier player because you have to let everyone else walk away or trade them away?
And they have some questions on the back end, Duke. Letty,
look
UFA.
Look at the guys that played D for them this year.
UFA. Ferraro, UFA. Desharnais, UFA. Mukamadulin, RFA.
They have 2 regular defensemen from this past year under contract, and one of them was Sam Dickinson, who's a rookie.
Yeah. So they got some questions there.
And you expect Mukamadulin to be back, as not only because he's an RFA, but he is a player they've been very high on. He was one of the main pieces in the Timo Meier trade to Jersey, right? So that's good. But then the rest of these guys, that's a pretty veteran group, and some of them much less tread on the tires left than others.
I will say, though, if you were a free agent, Duke, playing in San Jose with this team, the young core that they have, nice weather, state tax a little high. I get that. There's a lot of
upside,
a lot of arrows upwards, like for this organization. It's a good time to be Mike Greer. He kind of got through the mud, and now he's got a chance to have some fun here, building up that back end. Let me ask you this. So just of the UFAs, Letty, Klingberg, Ferraro, Desharnais.
Well, I think you bring back Mario Ferraro for sure.
Still 27 years old.
Yeah.
Versatility.
And he's another guy that's kind of been through it with the group and has proven capable. He's been the team's number 1 defenseman, which is a little crazy to say because with all respect to Mario Ferraro, he's not a number 1 defenseman. You bring back Mukamadulin. I don't know. I haven't had a good chance recently, I suppose, to re-gander this summer's D pool. Looks like half of them are going to be coming from San Jose at this rate. But you expect Sam Dickinson to take a step forward and maybe fill a more regular role in your top 6. Could you be interested in bringing back a guy like Klingberg or Desharnais? One or the other? Probably not both on the right side. I suppose the opportunity's there. Probably at lower prices than what they're making right now. Maybe similar. Desharnais, $2 million.
There's some guys out there, but
the free agency class this year overall is quite weak.
Trouba?
I fully expect him to be back in Anaheim. I do.
Cale Makar?
Yeah, he'll be available.
Throw enough money at him? Who else? You got John Carlson also free agent here, Duke?
I think if he goes anywhere, it's probably just back to Washington, no?
Probably. But maybe he likes Cali.
I'd love to see it. He's been a good fit.
How about Shea Weber?
Where's he plying his trade these days?
Chicago.
Okay.
40 years old.
He can link up with his old buddy Carey Price. I think Carey Price is a UFA too.
But it is funny because after, those guys who are probably being brought back, it's a lot of San Jose Sharks there. Connor Murphy, Nick Jensen, but a lot of Sharks looming there. Hey, maybe Radko Gudas makes a trip up the highway. We'll take our final break here. When we come back, more text, 1-833-401-1440. We'll also let you know what's coming up on the Lowdown and the Jason Krager Show. It is Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Build stamina and relieve fatigue with new Roots Herbals Energy, a well-balanced formula with D-ribose, astragalus, and ginseng. Find it at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
I'm good to go.
With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say,
I'm good to go.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
The puck is passed up through the neutral zone, and here's a breakaway. He's coming in hot. He shoots it. Oh no, a broken stick.
When it comes to performance, quality parts matter. Napa Auto Parts has all the reliable parts, tools, and more to keep your vehicle running like a playoff contender. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Every coach needs a game plan. Plan your fantasy frenzy with Halley and Douglas right here on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:47. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here in West Edmonton Mall. Hope you guys are having a great start to your Wednesday. Up next, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. On Wednesdays, they talk to Kevin McCurdy. We'll see what else, maybe more, but Declan will be there, Fenwick as well. And then that'll be leading into the Jason Greger Show from 2 till 6. Today on the show, Mike Rupp from the NHL Network, Stanley Cup champion, Paul Sir, Hoop City host, Tyler Yaremchuk, Cam Tate, we'll spec, potentially go to Montreal, talk some Canadians. If not, maybe we go Sabres. And 5 questions. So make sure you stick around here on Sports 1440 tomorrow. Duke, we're going to have Tyrell Ford in the house at 3 o'clock in studio. So that should be fun. You guys got Laddie Schmid back in the house tomorrow, hey?
Oh, the people are psyched. They've missed Laddie, fresh off of his coaching endeavor at the U18s. Czechs did very well.
Now, here's the question. What do the people think? Do you guys get a guest, or do you just let KK and Laddie go back and forth?
So Laddie will be in for an hour and a half, 9:30 to 11. Usually in these spots, I would book one guest at some point. We obviously do in or out with Laddie as well. I'm entertaining the notion of just going full Laddie open. We'll still do in or out, but for that hour and a half, no guest for 15 minutes of those 90. If anybody strongly disagrees with the idea, I'll certainly hear it, but I think it's a good idea.
We'll leave it over there to the texters. Immediately, MTR says, go full laddie. It might be all you need to do. A few more texts before we hand things over to Low Tide. Guard Dog says, I could see Toronto trading the pick to Vancouver for the third and Pettersson. Vancouver wants McKenna. Yeah, but does Toronto want Pettersson? That contract is massive. You're not getting the production living up to it. I think I'd want something else, Duke. I don't think I'd want to take on that deal, personally. Matthews and Nick Robertson to San Jose for second overall to Foley and Eklund. Who says no?
Good question.
You like that deal?
It's an interesting one. That's the problem. Sometimes these trades, it's hard to determine who is against it, like what side, but that also doesn't necessarily mean you have to like it. Like if you're the Sharks, Eklund, top 6 guy, good contract. Toffoli, one of the veteran guys that continues to contribute and has been a big part of this growth of this team. So, and maybe it's more of an emotional connection to Toffoli at this point, but I don't know if his trade value has very much. So you're talking about second overall. So now the Leafs would pick first and second. Presumably McKenna and one of the defensemen.
So in this case, if you're trading away who you are trading away for the Leafs, you're moving on. It's kind of a new era. You still have some good players. Nyes, Nylander's going to be there still. Does Tavares get the C back?
Yeah, I think it's correct. I think.
The one thing you say about Toffoli, though, I'm with you. He had 30 goals last year.
Yeah, still doing it, right?
19 this year. I kind of feel like he's more valuable to the team than just on the ice.
100%.
So that's when I feel like the young guys might not want to lose him. But you're getting potentially Austin Matthews.
That's the thing. My instinct is to say San Jose says no. But the problem where I face that is in getting Matthews as a centerpiece here, you're not getting a 30-year-old player. He's 28? He's still got tons of runway.
29 when the season starts.
Okay.
His goal totals have dropped off quite a bit. So is his games played from his 69 goal season. And one of the things that Gregor brings up with NHL Edge, his shot velocity has dropped as well. If that concerns you. He's a good two-way player, though.
That's the thing. It comes across as just me being really anti-Matthews. He's a good player. Really good player. Great player. But I think San Jose would probably say no to this.
Good proposition, though, from Rockford.
It's one that actually makes someone think. So that's more than we can say about some trade proposals that's come across the wire during this silly season that is the off-season in Edmonton.
JJ says, afternoon, boys. What about Sorokin, Schaefer, and a first for McDavid if he's leaving?
Yeah, see, in this case, I think, why would... I get it. It's the best player in the world, but that guts you if you're the Islanders.
You're giving up 15 years potentially of top tier from Schaefer.
And your Vezina caliber goaltender and a first-round pick.
And McDavid is a free agent in 2 years and could leave because you don't have a top goalie anymore.
Hey, they got Big Save Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, McDavid loves him, right?
Yeah, so and it's almost silly to say any deal involving McDavid that the other team would be the one to reject it, but I think that's the case here. I just when you're looking at teams that are coming out of rebuilds or still sort of in transition, do they want to mortgage the long-term vision for an immediate impact in a guy like McDavid or Matthews or even maybe Nylander? I'm not so sure they do. It would probably depend on the management group.
Roger texted in, what about a complete fire sale? What would you get for McDavid to Anaheim, Draisaitl to San Jose, Nuge to Vancouver, Nurse and Howard to Detroit, Hyman to Boston?
Who's playing for your team?
Oh, man. Who's your top line center at this point? I guess it'd have to be someone you acquire in one of these trades. I think you'd get a lot, Roger. You would get a lot. You could probably build a competitive team with all the players, but I think it'd be worse than what you have right now. Anaheim would love it. San Jose would love it. Boston would love it. Guy like Hyman in Boston for sure. Doesn't Anaheim make more sense for Matthews, McTavish, Zellweger in there first from Nick M? I'll let Duke handle that one because that's his team.
What was the full? McTavish, Zellweger in there first. Well, they don't have a first. Would be a future first rounder. Washington is Anaheim's first this year. The problem with that, I don't know if that would get it done for Toronto because Olen Zellweger is not playing. Like he's this odd man out on an Anaheim blue line. Still has some pedigree, obviously. Second round pick, junior success, all these things. And McTavish, you're kind of selling low if you're Anaheim on him right now. Now to get if Toronto's willing to buy low, so be it. But I think it would probably take a little bit more than that to get Matthews out of Toronto if you're the Ducks. Because Toronto looks at Anaheim and says, we see everything you have. Why are you offering us just the pieces you don't want?
It's true. It's true. We got to take our 23-hour break. Up next, Lowdown Flow Tide. But right now, Sports 1440 update with the Duke, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc.
The Sports 1440 update.
Two-game slate in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Out east, the Habs and Sabres get things underway for the round 2 matchup from Buffalo. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. And in the nightcap, 7:30 scheduled start time for the Ducks and Golden Knights. Game 2 from Vegas, with Vegas with a 1-0 series lead. Off the ice, league announcing its finalists for this year's Selke Trophy for the league's top defensive forward. Lightning forward Anthony Cirelli, finalist for the second time in his career, and Colorado center Brock Nelson, along with Habs captain Nick Suzuki, finalists for the first time in their careers. In the PWHL, confirmed this morning by the league that Detroit will be the next expansion franchise in the Professional Women's Hockey League, joining play next season. They're also going to host the draft and award ceremony this summer. In the association, Knicks and Sixers go at it for Game 2 from MSG at 5 o'clock. Minnesota taking on the Spurs from San Antonio at 7:30. Timberwolves with a 1-0 series lead. In the majors today, Blue Jays already underway for their finale in Tampa Bay against the Rays. Currently trail 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Top 3, Brewers are up big on the Cardinals, 4-0. Still to come, Astros hosting the Dodgers. Padres are in San Fran. Tigers hosting the Red Sox. Mariners against the Braves. Yankees take on the Texas Rangers. And the Cubbies hosting Cincinnati. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brandon Douglas. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440.